Well, hey there everyone. Today I'm going to teach you how to make these super cute DIY cup wraps with Cricut as a teacher appreciation gift. The supplies you're going to need for this project is a tumbler cup. I like to use the Starbucks cold cups, but there's a variety of other cups you can use as well that are in similar sizes. You'll need a Cricut machine or some form of cutting machine, permanent vinyl, a weeding tool, transfer tape, and then my teacher cup wrap SVG files, which are linked below for you. And the Apple file is a freebie for you to enjoy. So you can get all that information below in the description. Just click on show more and it'll give you the information. Okay, I just want to show you real quick a couple of tips here in Cricut Design Space if you've never worked with cup wraps before, or maybe you're just new to Design Space in general. So first I want to mention my teacher appreciation templates here we're featuring in this tutorial today. I'll be showing you this apple here step by step. The apple wrap here is free for you to enjoy. That is linked below for you. If you like these other ones that we have here, which go for the cup wraps as well, you can also find those linked below. They are part of our Abby Kirsten Collections Premium Member Vault subscribers, so you can get those below as well. Otherwise, if you are not a part of that or do not wish to join, then you can just enjoy the apple wrap here. So let's start by uploading our SVG file. I'm just going to click on the upload button. I already have all these uploaded, but I just want to walk you through the process. So just click upload image and then browse your computer. And here is my Apple SVG here, and this is the 24-ounce cold cup one. I have other sizes as well if you choose to do a different cup. If we double click on that, you'll see a preview image here, and you'll want to click on upload. And you'll see it appear down here. As you can see, I've uploaded several copies. And you'll want to select under recent uploads and click add to canvas. And it's going to load right onto your canvas for you here, right at the top. There we go. All right, so that is how you would import the file. Obviously, I already have it here, so I'm just going to click the X button and remove that extra one from my canvas. The next thing I just want to show you here in Design Space is the Color Sync tool. So there are a lot of layers for some of these other ones up here, and it can be helpful to consolidate our colors so that we do not have to cut out as many layers of vinyl in as many different colors. So if you, let me go ahead and actually hide a couple of these because I don't want so much showing up on the canvas here. Okay, so taking a closer look at this design here that has so many colors in it. If I click on the Color Sync panel up at the top right-hand side, we'll see all of the colors appear here. So maybe we could consolidate a few of these colors, and it won't necessarily change the overall prettiness of the design, but it will really help cut down on the number of shades of vinyl and mats, therefore, that we have to load into our machine. So looking at this, I could consolidate the purple and the blue hearts together and just have one color heart. So let's drag the purple hearts into the blue. Okay, so we just consolidated those layers together. And looking at the notebooks here, the notebooks are kind of orange on the front. And then I also made the pencil erasers kind of a pale peach, somewhat similar in color. I could consolidate these colors as well. So I'm going to click and drag the orange notebook cover into the paler orange or peach color here. Okay, so we've consolidated those. Now we just eliminated 2 additional mats that we would have to load with 2 additional colors of vinyl we would have to add just by using that Color Sync tool. So super helpful, and I just wanted to use this tutorial as a means to introduce the Color Sync tool if you have never used it before, because it's really wonderful. All right, so I'm clicking on the Make It button here, and it's going to sort our projects by color. So now, since I'm using a Maker 3, it's asking me if I'm doing this with smart materials or on a mat or multiple ways. If you're using an Explore 2 or an original Maker, any of those ones that came before the Explore 3 or the Maker 3, you won't get this pop-up. I am going to be using smart vinyl for this, but of course you could just put vinyl on a mat as you traditionally would with any of the regular models of machines. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit continue here. Okay, so this is connecting to my machine now, and then we just need to select our material. So if you're working with smart materials like me, then you would select that accordingly with your base material. If you're putting everything on a mat, which is generally more traditional, then you would select that accordingly as well. So they have just a basic vinyl setting. You can browse all materials here. let's say maybe you're experimenting with a holographic or some sort of foil vinyl or something like that, you can find those vinyls here as well. Just make sure you're using a permanent vinyl. It needs to say permanent and not removable so that it's going to last a lot longer and have a lot more wear and tear on the cup than if you're using removable. So find the material that you're using and it'll say it on the package and you can select it here. Okay, so let's go ahead and load our machine up and cut these materials. Alright, so now it's time for me to load my vinyl. I am using smart vinyl here, but you can of course put your vinyl on a mat just as you would traditionally do as well. So don't get thrown off by me using smart vinyl. It's perfectly fine to use regular vinyl as well. You just want to make sure that it is permanent because we're dealing with something here that we don't want the vinyl coming off easily. So I'm going to go ahead and load my vinyl here into my Cricut Maker 3, and you can use an Explorer or a regular Maker, Explorer 2, Explorer 3. Any of those machines will work for this project. Okay, so we need to weed our design now, and one thing with vinyl in general, and especially with the smart vinyl, it can be hard to weed because the liners like to curl on us. So try weeding on a mat. Even if you're using the smart vinyl like I am, you can still press it to a mat like this and make your weeding process easier. And if you're already cutting on the mat, then just don't take it off the mat until you've weeded it. In my case, I was using smart vinyl here. But weeding with a mat underneath can be like an extra set of hands, and it can be really helpful for getting things still and not curling on you. Okay, so there's one. Okay, so now we're going to need our transfer tape. And I'm just going to cut off a piece here. So what we're going to do is we're going to transfer all of these onto this liner before we place it onto the cup. So I'm going to start with the little stem pieces here, and I'm going to place this down. And you want to burnish that. If you're working with smart vinyl like me or struggle with getting your vinyl to come off the liner, you want to make sure you're burnishing the front and the back of your liner. So once you burnish the front, you want to burnish the back too. This helps really get it to want to leave the liner and get the air bubbles out and all that good stuff. And then you want to peel your liner away from the transfer tape, just like that. All right, so we've got that part done. And let's move on to this part. And now you're going to need to align it. So again, if your liner is doing that and it's going to make it very hard for you to align, go ahead and take your sticky mat and put this back down on it. You could also tape it, I suppose, to your desk if you didn't have a mat that was sticky enough, but I like to use my mat because it's plenty sticky to do the job. And you want to focus on that cross in the middle, and as long as you line those two crosses up, everything else should fall into its rightful place. Just going to make things a lot easier for us. Okay, so that part's done. Let's burnish. And it's on the mat, flip the mat over and peel the mat back. And then burnish the back. Okay, and now let's peel our liner here. If anything's not sticking down, kind of crease that area and press and roll it away. See that how this one here isn't sticking to my liner? If you press it down with your finger and crease the liner and then roll it away, it releases onto the transfer tape. So that's a helpful little tip there if you're struggling at all. All right, so we've got that. Let's repeat the process one last time with our third layer here. And no matter which of the cup wraps you're using, you would follow the same process. So if there was 2 additional layers here or whatever, I have some that have like the pencils, like this one, and little stars and hearts that are added to it, then you would just repeat the process until you have all your layers on the transfer tape liner. So I'm going to take this, again, looking at that cross in the center to get things lined up. You can see my cross is aligned there. And as I let everything else fall, it all goes into its rightful place there. And now let's burnish that. Alrighty. And I'm going to peel this back again. And go ahead and burnish the back again here. All right. Now, there's a couple different things when you're working with these cups. So first, if you're working with something that goes all the way around the logo like this, you obviously can't, cut it in half and work in sections because then you would be cutting your design in half. However, if you're working with a design that does allow you to, let's say you don't have something going around the logo and it's just these pieces floating out here, you could trim this in half and do half the cup at a time, and that will help you a little bit. Now, if you're working with something a little more complex like this, which is why I decided to feature this, then you're going to have to sort of just take it in stages, and I have a couple extra tricks for you. First, what you can do is you can leave half on the liner and kind of just work half on at a time and then peel the liner out. I find that a little bit hard, especially if you're working with the thicker liner. So I'm not going to show you that method. Instead, I'm going to show you with the whole thing, and I'm going to add snips with my scissors around the edge here. And that's going to help make the transfer tape more flexible for me as I work it onto the curved surface. Before I lift this off the liner, I'm going to take the cup that I'm using here and I'm going to grab an alcohol swab, and I'm just going to clean the surface to make sure everything is really good and clean so that when I put my permanent vinyl down, I'm not going to end up with vinyl that's wanting to lift because there was dust on it or something like that. If you don't have an alcohol prep pad, you could just use a little rubbing alcohol, or you could even just wash it with some dish soap and dry it with a lint-free cloth or paper towel, and that should get the job done as well. Make sure, of course, if you're going the alcohol route like I am here, that you let it completely dry before you start sticking on your permanent vinyl. You want to make sure everything is nice and dry before we add anything to it. So I'm going to let this just dry for maybe like 3 to 5 minutes before I stick my vinyl on. And then while that is drying, I'm going to go ahead and flip this over and we'll burnish it on this side. I may have already done this actually. I think I did. Burnish it one more time here just to make sure. And I'm going to peel away my liner nice and slowly. Just like that. Okay. Don't forget to take off your little cross piece here. That was just to help us. We're not actually going to be needing that at all. So just peel that off and you're good to go now because everything is aligned. And before I add this on, I'm going to add little snips here just to help the flexibility of this piece going onto our curved surface. It'll help more than you realize. I do this too when I'm making ornaments for Christmas. I have a whole tutorial on ornaments as well and getting things going onto curved surface like that. All right, so this is still drying a little bit. I'm just gonna give it another minute. All right, so it's time to add this to our cup. So one of the tricky things about getting decals onto cups is keeping the cup still. There's a couple things you can do. You could grab some duct tape and put some tape on the inside here and stick it down to the desk, and that'll help hold it still. You could just grab something like a Cricut scraper or a pair of scissors and kind of sandwich it in between so that it doesn't roll as much. Or you can grab some of that like white sticky tack stuff that you used to use in school, you know, like to put things up on bulletin boards and stuff, and you can grab that and press it down on the table that you're working on, and that will help as well. So you can find this at, like, you can find it online, you can find it at office stores, Walmart, Target, all those good places. So I like to use this just because it grips pretty well and I don't have to worry about things shifting quite as much. It gives it some stability. Okay, so that's just what I like to do, but there's some other options there with like using tape and stuff too. So you kind of want to go down, focusing of course on the center decal here. So I like to pull mine to where it's kind of going up in half, and then you're going to let it fall down once you get that alignment. So once I get what I believe to be centered here, I'm going to give it a press and let the rest fall to the sides here, and then we can start slowly pressing this around. And you see how my transfer tape is bending and how it's working with me because I had those slits right there. That is what makes those little cuts so helpful when you just snip those into your transfer tape. So you're just going to take a moment to press this on. I like to just use my fingers. Once you get the initial part on, you don't have to keep it on the desk. You'll have to lift it up. So we don't need to worry about this tacky stuff anymore, but it was very useful. And if there's anywhere where you're struggling, again, with your transfer tape, add a little snip in with your scissors and it will relax it so you can bring this down where it needs to go. And then as you're bringing these two ends together, you might need to go ahead and just like trim off your extra transfer tape here because it might start to get into the way, and we want to get that out of the way so we're not fighting it. Again, just keep pressing things on there. All right, and then once you've gotten everything initially pressed on here, you just want to start peeling this back. And if anything's starting to lift, you want to just push with your finger and then peel back. Push and peel back. Now some people ask me, do you need to seal this with anything? I do not seal my cups. This is permanent vinyl. So as long as you are hand washing gently, it should last you for quite a long time. I've done several cups for my children before, and they tend to abuse their cups quite a bit because they're young kids. And before they start to show any real wear and tear, it usually takes a solid 6 to 9 months of consistent use before I'm seeing like, okay, I want to make another cup because this one doesn't look as good anymore. And that's with kids using them very regularly and kind of being extra tough on them. So someone's, you know, who's using this a few times a week and is, you know, taking care to wash by hand and air dry, then you should have a lot of problems with enjoying this cup for a long time. So just take your time with this. You have to kind of press and roll to get everything to release from the transfer tape, and that's normal. So try and be patient with it. And then if it starts to get hard working with all that extra transfer tape there, just cut off what you've already removed and then continue on. It makes it a little bit easier. Okay, and once you've got your transfer tape off, just go around and check for air bubbles, make sure everything is pressed nice and flush. You don't have anything that still needs pushing down. And that is really all there is to it. So I have a few of these different designs here. And this one here, like I said earlier, you would do the same thing. So this one has pencils and extra stars added in. But the process would be the same with the layering like we did onto one piece of transfer tape and then placing it all onto our surface here. So one thing I like to do, since these are teacher appreciation gifts, is I like to fill them with a little something extra. So they get to keep the cup and then they get something inside the cup too. So it's really fun. Okay, so what I like to do to fill these up is to add some fun things to them. So just feel free to like collect things that you think teachers might like. I like to put a little bit of shredded paper in the bottom just to kind of push up the little gifts towards the top a bit. So I'll drop a little shredded paper down there in the bottom of my cup. And then I do things like lip balm, hand sanitizer, a pen, little post-it sticky notes, a gift card to wherever your teacher may want one. Usually coffee is a safe bet for most teachers, unless it's my husband, in which case he doesn't like coffee. I know. I also like to get these little like exfoliating masks that they can do and hand creams that teachers can enjoy. So that's something that they can do to sort of relax. So then you'll just sort of fit everything in there. So I'll take this and place these inside. Make sure you leave a little bit of space for the straw to be able to sit down in there. And finally, the gift card. Slide that in there. And then all we need to do is put the lids on. There we go. Now our teachers have a wonderful handmade cup that they can reuse many times, and it has a bunch of little things inside of it that they can enjoy. And I hope you guys like this tutorial. It's a lot of fun. You can get this Apple one completely for free on my blog. It's going to be linked below for you. The other ones here are part of our premium Abby Kirsten Collections membership. So if you're a premium member, you can download all of those as well. And I will be making some more cup wraps in the future. So let me know if there's a particular one you want me to make, and I just might make it. Leave it in the comments. If you guys have questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to do my best to help you answer any questions you have. For supplies and resources and templates, make sure you visit the link below in the video description. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.